Hi, everyone. I'm Colleen, and I'm back for another live stream, of course, brought to you by Princess Dental Staffing. Happy to see everyone on this Wednesday. Okay, so today's topic, we are bringing you a guide for your first dental job as a dental assistant. So, weeks ago, we gave a similar guide and tips for finding your first job as a dentist. Last week, it was dental hygienists, and this week, we are talking about dental assistants. Okay, so we're going to be talking about some of the things to consider in determining, what type of position and, location and, what type of job essentially that you want to go into after you've completed your training and or degree towards dental assisting. And then we're also going to be bringing you some tips to help you through your first the first like day or few weeks of your new dental assistant role. Okay. But before we get into that, just want to remind everyone that each week, Princess Dental Staffing is bringing you a new live stream covering a topic related to your career in the dental industry. So if you don't want to miss out on future streams, be sure to follow our page or subscribe to our channel. A quick note on that, though, just to let everyone know, next week we'll be skipping the stream. Okay, I'm going to be traveling, so it won't be here. But the week after, so September 21st, no stream. Okay, and then September 28th, we will be back for a new live stream. Okay, covering a new topic that is about your career in the dental industry. Okay, now if you like the content that we're bringing you, be sure to drop us a like, and if you want to add to the conversation, drop us a comment. Okay. And if you have some time today, hop on to princessdentalstaffing.com. So, for those of you who don't know, if you're a first time viewer, Princess Dental Staffing is an online dental job board, and they have positions available for dental receptionists, dental assistants, dental hygienists, and dentists in a variety of different areas. And they have full-time, part-time, permanent, and temporary roles available. So you can take a look and see, what positions they have available on your area by visiting princessdentalstaffing.com. And you can also create a profile to get your information in front of hiring managers. And you can also check out their blog, which covers a lot of the same topics that we cover in these live streams. Okay? Alrighty, so just one more reminder before I dive into today's topic. Okay, so we're having our live stream today. Next week, September 21st, no live stream, but the week after that, September 28th, we will be back with a new topic. Okay. All right, so let's talk about dental assistants today. So let's talk about some of the things that you want to kind of think about and decide on when it comes to, the type of position that you want to get after you've finished your degree or your training program for dental assisting. Okay, so first of all, you want to think about, what your needs, your specific needs are in terms of a job in general. Right. So you want to think about things like location. You want to think about things like, compensation and, those sorts of things, the type of place that you would really not only love to work, but that is also going to fit with your goals and your needs in your personal life and also your career goals as well. So the first thing you definitely want to think about is location. Now, maybe you are only looking to kind of stay where you are, but if you're open to location, then you definitely want to do a little bit of research and see what areas have a high demand for dental assisting and, what you can expect in terms of compensation as compared to cost of living. Okay. So just to kind of give you an example or just kind of an idea regarding, salary in terms of dental assisting, the Bureau of Labor Statistics averaged, actually the average is for May 2021, average that dental assistants make about 18.58 an hour. Okay, that's average, national average. Okay, now when you compare that with some of the top states, okay, and this information it comes to you from danb.org, the Dental Assisting National Board.org's website. Okay, so the top states that pay the most on average for dental assistants are Minnesota at $23.94 an hour on average. Okay. Then Massachusetts, 23.08 an hour, and then Oregon, 23.01 an hour. So quite a bit of difference between, the national average at 18.58 and some of those top states. Okay. But again, you're definitely going to want to take a look at cost of living and compare that with those hourly averages. Okay. And again, also taking a look at kind of the highest demand states as well. I did not write it down here, but I believe the highest demand for dental assistants is Alaska, actually, as I recall. But definitely do your research. So if you're open to location, definitely do your research and see where you want to be. Okay. The other thing that you want to kind of take a look at is examining compensation along with benefits package. Okay, so compensation is great, of course. We all need to make money, right? But compensation can provide financial support that is not necessarily gained via your paycheck, right? So things like, for example, 401k matching, Um, and things like health benefits and options like health insurance, medical, dental, and those sorts of things, um, and FSA, HSA contributions, employer contributions, that kind of stuff. Okay. So those are definitely things you want to kind of also take into consideration. So we're asking you to do a lot of research here, but I promise you it is going to be worth it. Your future self is going to thank you. Okay. Additionally, you want to take a look at office culture as well. Again, this takes some time to, it takes the ability to honestly assess what your values are and, kind of what you want to experience in your dental assisting role. Okay. You definitely want to determine, kind of what your values are and see if you can't align them as closely as possible with other practices. Okay. And that will give you kind of an idea of the type of office culture that you want. And then you can do a little research and see, what office cultures are out there to determine if this is a place that you want to work. Because even if you have a great salary and a great benefits package and you have the type of role that you absolutely want, the office culture can really affect how happy you are in that role. Right. So these are all definitely things that you're going to want to research. Take the time, effort, and energy to research because your future self will thank you for doing so. Okay. Number two, determine the type of position that you're looking for. You can do so. Earlier, I mentioned that Princess Dental Staffing has positions available full time, part time, permanent, and temporary roles. Okay. And that's really going to kind of depend on the type of position that you want, is going to really depend a lot on your needs and your personal life and, what aligns best with you and what you need. Okay. And what you're trying to get out of this role. Okay. So, you can go permanent full time, you can go permanent part time, you can do temporary, either full time or part time. You can do a permanent position, either full time or part time, and then kind of temp on your days off if you are looking for a little bit extra income. Okay. So, all of those are really great options. But again, it's going to depend on you, the person. Okay. Alrighty. And then step number three, make sure you're securing those interviews. Okay. You want to write your resume, tailor your resume to the job posting. Do not skimp on this. Okay. Tailor your resume to the job posting and write and tailor your cover letter as well. I know it takes time, effort, and energy, but again, your future self is going to thank you for this. Okay. Make sure that you present your skills and talents well in interviews. And this may involve doing a few practice rounds, right? You know, honing those interview skills. You can do this with a partner, like with a friend or family member. You can record yourself on, whatever device, your phone or your laptop, your iPad, whatever. Answering common questions like, tell us a little bit about yourself, what would make you a great dental assistant, and those sorts of things. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Review it back and see, where you can make some improvements. Okay. Make sure you're demonstrating gratitude throughout the application process. After the interview, make sure you send a thank you note. After the working interview, if you get a working interview, make sure you send a thank you note after that. It helps show potential employers that not only you're grateful for the opportunity, but that you're interested in this role. Okay. And then lastly, secure your ideal position as a dental assistant. This takes a lot of effort and energy. I'm not even going to lie to you, but it's worth it. Okay. It's worth it to get that job that you really, really want. Okay. Alrighty. So those are our guides for finding your sorry, my glasses are a little bit off kilter today. So those are our guides for finding your role as your first role as a dental assistant. So let's talk about some of the things that you can expect in your first day or first few days in your new role as a dental assistant, and some of our tips to kind of help that go by a little bit, more streamlined, right? A little bit, make the road a little less bumpy. Okay. Alrighty. So some of the things that you can expect on your first day are going to be things like, taking care of your employment forms, right? Hopefully they send them to you beforehand and you can just fill them out and bring them in with you. Or you can it's via system and you can just fill it out online. Hopefully. But if not, you'll probably be going over you'll be filling out a short novel, likely insurance forms, maybe IRS employment forms, vaccination records, OSHA, HIPAA compliance information, and those sorts of things, employee manuals, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to be reviewing a lot of information, you're going to be filling out a lot of information, all necessary evils of starting a new role. Okay. Some other things that you may go over in your first day or first few days is taking a look at the daily routine, front and back office flow. Okay. And see how things are done. So you can kind of fit in with that. Overviewing the practice's mission, value, and culture. The responsibilities, job description, prioritizing which systems need to be learned first if you're not already familiar with systems like, your electronic dental record systems and all those sorts of things. Expectations for training, reading materials, who will provide training on various job related areas, or at least who to ask direct your questions towards. Okay. Timeline of milestones and maybe even performance evaluations. So a lot of those things you'll probably be going over in the first day or first few days, or also equally likely, a lot of those things will also be covered in the interview process as well. So make sure you ask about some of those things whilst you're interviewing, so you have a good idea of what you can expect the first few days or first day. Okay. Alrighty. So something else that you'll definitely want to use in order to succeed in your first job as a dental assistant, you'll definitely want to practice emotional intelligence. Okay. Emotions can spread really, really quickly from person to person. So it's critical to employ that emotional intelligence and, really demonstrate your ability to be professional, right? This is your first job. You definitely want to make a really great first impression. Okay. And having emotional intelligence can really demonstrate that. Okay. And that includes things like, employing genuine awareness, sensitivity, hospitality, consideration for other people's feelings. All of those things indicate really high emotional intelligence. And since you're going to be working with a brand new team, brand new leaders, brand new patients, and all those sorts of things, you definitely want to employ a little bit of emotional intelligence to make sure that the day flow smoothly. Okay. Alrighty, so here are some of our tips for getting the most out of your onboarding period in the first few days of your new role. Number one, self-awareness. Okay, self-awareness, basically understanding how your actions affect others. Okay, and that might look like doing things like adjusting your communication style to be able to communicate effectively with your team members, with patients, paying attention, listening carefully, learning as much as possible during the onboarding and training process so that you can emulate those vision or those values, that vision, that mission. Okay, and this will help you learn more about yourself as a professional and as a person, right? Just being aware of um, how your actions and how your emotions kind of affect other people. It will definitely teach you a lot about yourself. Okay. And that information is really, really valuable. because that helps you kind of understand, what motivates you to perform at peak performance. Okay. And once you understand what motivates you, okay, that can help you kind of persevere in the face of challenges and obstacles. Okay. And you're definitely going to encounter some walls, right? It's work. You're definitely going to encounter some challenging times, and finding ways to overcome those challenges via resiliency, via motivating yourself, and via self-awareness can really help make this job work a lot better for you and for everyone involved. Emotional intelligence, love it, super critical. It really is, Heidi. It really, really is. Emotional intelligence is really important in a lot of different roles, but definitely in a dental assisting, since you are interacting with so many different people. And since this is, one of like your first role, likely, maybe even your first time working in a dental office, it can be very overwhelming. So emotional intelligence can go a long way here. Tip number 2, resiliency. So resiliency is a skill that is that really every dental professional requires. Really, a lot of professions require, especially ones where you're interacting with the general public and customers and patients on a regular basis. Okay, resiliency definitely goes a long way, because without that resiliency, it can fatigue you, right? You can start to get tired, and you can start to your other skills like compassion and your technical skills can start to wane, right? You can start to overlook those details, and details are very, very important to a dental assistant. Okay. So, some of the things that can really help build your resiliency are making sure that you have these routines in place that give you what you need, the basics of what you need, such as getting enough sleep, making sure you have an exercise routine in place, exercise, or even just physical activity for pleasure's sake, not necessarily like to, build muscle or lose weight or something like that. So exercise of some kind, drinking water, making sure you're getting your nutritional value, and eating regularly throughout the day. It also does a lot to understand what is in your control and what is out of your control. Being able to improvise and adapt through challenging situations, all of those things really help build your resiliency. Okay. Number 3, questions. Okay, you're going to have questions, right? You're going to have questions. Like I said, this might be your first role in a dental office altogether, right? So a lot of these things might be very, very new to you, and you're probably going to have questions at some point. It is totally okay to ask questions. It is encouraged to ask questions, but also understand that everyone else there is trying to do their work and, reach their career goals as well. So be respectful of people's time, but if you're not sure, absolutely ask the question. Okay, whatever that question is. And if you can plan times throughout the day to kind of meet with your leaders, or with, the person you're shadowing, or whoever it is that's meant to be training you and kind of showing you around the place, try to schedule that in advance. And that's going to make best use of both of your time. Okay. Number 4, role models. So if you've worked a day or 2 or maybe 3 at this new position, okay, you kind of start to get a sense of your team members, and what they do, and what they contribute to the practice and to their patients and everything like that. And if you've ever looked at any of them and thought to yourself, wow, that person's really resilient, wow, that person is a great communicator, wow, that person has a lot of has a lot of confidence, or something to that effect, that's really great. Okay, you're definitely there to learn from one another. Okay, it's always a good thing to actively learn and observe from someone else. Okay, and then you can start to emulate some of those things that you admire in that person. And again, you can always ask that person, hey, what makes you so resilient? Oh, I love the way you spoke with that patient. How do you, kind of, what's your technique? How are you able to do that? That's really awesome. Those sorts of things. But again, be respectful of their time. Don't ask them in the middle of them working with a patient. That's definitely not the time to do it. But a lot of the time, team members will be happy to tell you, how they're able to achieve or do certain things. Okay. Tip number 5, impact. So consider your impact on the team, on the practice, on the patients, okay? And see how you're able to sort of make a difference for the positive, right? For the good, for the greater good, okay? Capitalize on some early wins and ensure your manager and you both clearly understand what is expected of you, okay? So hopefully either in the interview and or in the onboarding process, you've learned what the expectations are of you. Okay. So make sure that you're meeting those expectations, set targets, set goals, set timelines. Okay. And make sure that you're also, including your goals as well. You have career goals, right? You definitely want to be somewhere in 5 years, 10 years, or something like that. So make sure that you're setting those goals and balancing them with with the expectations of you as a new dental assistant. Set those timelines and you're good to go. And tip number 6, last tip, alignment. Okay. So get to know your coworkers, get to know the company culture. Some people, some professionals, they're able to kind of learn the company culture very easily, very quickly, just by observing. But some other people, it takes a little bit more effort to kind of understand the office flow and the office culture. Okay. So if it's taking you a little bit more time, don't worry about it. It's okay. A lot of people struggle with that as well. Just start small. If you're finding it a little bit difficult, start with small tasks, start with small goals and targets. Okay. Hold off making adjustments until you fully comprehend the whys and the hows behind them. And that's going to help you better align with the company culture. Okay. Alrighty, so those are our tips and our guides for obtaining your first role as a dental assistant. So let's kind of go over them briefly one more time. So in terms of obtaining and looking for your first role, definitely take consideration in terms of like a location, compensation package, benefits. And office culture. Be really honest with yourself about what it is that you need and see what you can find that aligns as closely with that as possible. Determine the type of position that you want. Again, that's going to depend a lot on your needs, permanent, temporary, full-time, part-time, little bit of everything, completely up to you. Okay. And Princess Dental Staffing can help you find the right role for you as well. And lastly, secure those interviews by making sure that you have your resume and your cover letter ready, that you're tailoring them, that you are practicing your interviewing skills, and that you are connecting with the potential hiring managers throughout the process and interviewers throughout the process. Okay. Alrighty. And our tips for starting your first day include self-awareness. Okay. Tip number 1, self-awareness. Tip number 2, resiliency. 3, questions. Make sure you're asking the right person at the right time. 4, role models. See what attributes and skills other people have and that you want to emulate. Number 5, considering your impact on the team and the practice. And number 6, lastly, alignment. Make sure you're aligning with the company culture. You're learning the company culture and the team and how you fit in and aligning with that as closely as possible. Okay. All right. So that is today's topic. Thank you for tuning in with me today, everyone. We'll be back not next week, the week after, with a new topic and a new stream covering your career in the dental industry. So until then, have a great 2 weeks. Have a great 2 weekends. Continue to stay safe out there. I'll see you very, very soon.